Hello again. Welcome. Welcome back. Okay, what I'm offering you today is meat, but it is fascinating and revealing. I never knew of this in the first 35 years of my Christian walk. Of course, I wasn't really looking for it, and none of my pastors and teachers ever mentioned it. So please, watch the whole video. If you can't quite grasp the meaning, put it on the shelf for now and post your questions in the comments below, and I'll help you puzzle it through. Now, if you get as excited as I did when I first discovered this, bring it up to your small group. So here we go. When we seek to honor the hermeneutical approach of letting Scripture interpret Scripture, we inevitably, through keen observation, discover context that leads us to stronger validations of the conclusions that we're led to. This is a structurally sound approach to Scripture. Now, today, I want to expand on the subject of the prophetic context that we observed of the covenantal beginning of the marriage contract between Yahweh and Israel, which is Deuteronomy 28 to 32, with the covenantal end, the utter desolation of Jerusalem, the temple, the house of Israel in AD 70. You'll find these in previous videos. In Deuteronomy 32, 7 to 8, quote, "Remember the ancient days. Bear in mind the years of past generations. Ask your father, and he will inform you, your elders, and they will tell you. When the Most High gave the nations their inheritance, when he divided up humankind," that's literally sons of Adam, "he set the boundaries of the peoples according to the number of the heavenly assembly," literally sons of God. The 70 nations that were listed in Genesis 10 correspond to the sons of God to whom the nations were assigned. When the devil tempted Jesus by offering all the kingdoms of the world, he was claiming his status as the prince of this world who held legal, though corrupt, jurisdiction over the nations that Yahweh had disinherited at Babel. Most of us were taught that the Bible is a story about humans. It is, but not exclusively. But if you look closer at the Hebrew text, you'll find a cosmic drama unfolding in the background, a divine council worldview that changes everything we know about the New Testament. So today I want to connect the dots between the ancient past, the corruption of the, quote, gods, and the final climax of the Old Covenant in AD 70. To understand the New Covenant, we always go back to the beginning in Deuteronomy 32, and today we'll look at verses 8 and 9. The text tells us that when the Most High divided the nations at Babel, he set their boundaries according to the number of the sons of God. While Yahweh took Israel as his own portion, he assigned the Gentile nations to the jurisdiction of lesser heavenly beings, part of the Elohim. But as Psalm 82 reveals, these gods did not rule justly. They became corrupt, promoting wickedness and demanding worship for themselves. Now, okay, from experience, I suspect some of you might be clicking away at this point, but please hold on. I'm going to show you from Daniel these rebellious sons of God in action. We'll look at Daniel 10, 13 to 21, quote, "But the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me 21 days. But lo, Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help me, and I remained there with the kings of Persia. Now I am come to make thee understand what shall befall thy people in the latter days. For yet the vision is for many days. And when he had spoken such words unto me, I set my face toward the ground, and I became dumb. And behold, one like the similitude of the sons of men touched my lips. Then I opened my mouth and spake and said unto him that stood before me, O my Lord, by the vision my sorrows are turned upon me, and I have retained no strength. For how can the servant of this my Lord talk with this my Lord? For as for me, straightway there remained no strength in me, neither is there breath left in me. Then there came again and touched me one like the appearance of the Son of Man, and he strengthened me. And he said, O man greatly beloved, fear not. Peace be unto you. Be strong, yea, be strong. And when he had spoken unto me, I was strengthened, and said, Let my Lord speak, for thou hast strengthened me. Then he said, Knowest thou where I come unto thee? And now I will return to fight with the prince of Persia. And when I am gone forth, lo, the prince of Grecia shall come. But I will show thee that which is noted in the scripture of truth. And there is none that holdeth with me in these things, but Michael, your prince. End quote. This is why in the wilderness the devil could offer Jesus the glory of the kingdoms of this world. He wasn't lying about his temporary authority. He was the leader of a rebellion that held the nations in spiritual bondage. But Yahweh's plan was never to leave the nations in darkness. He promised Abraham that through his seed, in Galatians we know that's Jesus, all the families of the earth would be blessed. The mission of Jesus wasn't just to save individuals, it was a cosmic hostile takeover. He came to reclaim the nations that had been handed over to the rebellious divine council. You may be somewhat familiar with this text in Psalm 2, 7-9. Quote, I will declare the decree. The Lord has sent to me. You are my son. Today I have begotten you. Ask of me, and I will give you the nations for your inheritance, and the ends of the earth for your possession. You shall break them with a rod of iron. You shall dash them to pieces like a potter's vessel. End quote. This is why the Great Commission was so pivotal. Jesus says, all authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. He was officially putting the gods of the nations on notice. Now, I'm a preterist, and as a preterist, I understand that the transition from the old covenant to the new was not a slow fade. It was a legal and cataclysmic judgment. Between the resurrection and AD 70, there was a period of overlap. The old system, represented by the temple and the animal sacrifices, stood as a fading shadow. During this time, the powers and principalities were being stripped of their legal right to rule. When the Roman legion surrounded Jerusalem in AD 66 and the temple fell in AD 70, it wasn't just a physical building being destroyed, it was the final divine eviction notice. Psalm 82 ends with a cry, quote, Rise up, O God, and execute judgment on the earth, for you own all the nations. And that prayer was answered in the first century. The destruction of the old covenant system signaled the end of the age of the powers. In passages like Ephesians 6:12 and Colossians 2:15, the Bible speaks of principalities and powers, in Greek, the archos kai exousias. This refers to spiritual hierarchies or authorities. The wall of partition between Jew and Gentile was not just spiritually cracked, it was legally demolished. The heathen are now the inheritance of Jesus. The nations no longer belong to the corrupt sons of God of Deuteronomy 32. They belong to the King of Kings. AD 70 was the fruition of Yahweh's plan, the end of the ethnic monopoly, the judgment of the rebellious heavenly host, and the full establishment of a kingdom where anyone from any nation can come to the Father through the Son and receive of the Spirit the water of life freely. The old order is gone, the new world has come. So thanks for watching. If you want to dive deeper into the covenantal nature of these scriptures, hit subscribe and check the links that I leave below in the description. We are living in the age of his completed victory. I'm finished for now. See you next time.